Great day, and welcome to today's episode of The Health Class You Never Had. I am your host for the day, P. Precious Porter, owner of Precious LLC. With us on the platform today, we have Master Chef. Say hello, Master Chef.
What's happening, everyone? It's a joy and a pleasure to be here to share information with you guys. It's helping wholeness and welcome, welcome.
And we have also with us Dr. Yu. Dr. Yu, say hello to everyone.
Peace, everyone. Glad to be here with you as always and looking forward to jumping into this topic. And I want to give a quick disclaimer. We may be all over the place today on our conversation, but that's what environment is. It's everywhere. So looking forward to it.
All right. So he's kind of let the cat out the bag a little bit. Our conversation today is environmentally speaking. And what we've been doing for the past 7 days, with today being the closing of our 7 day, is a detox. And we've detoxed everything from televisions to thoughts to different foods. And just want to name a couple of people that I've seen checking in that's been riding with us. We got Randy Grant. We got Honeybee Richardson, Makita Stockton, Kathleen Welch, Lawrence McRae. And, for those of you who shared your recipes and stuff, thank you. Like Reverend Celia, she was one of the ones that checked in and shared recipes with us. And we appreciate you all rolling with us on this detox because it's about us giving to you and you working with us. And, we're just coming together as a community to make this thing happen. So thank you very much. And if you did not jump in last Monday, it's not too late for you to detox. Go back, check out the shows. Make sure you still comment. And if you still have questions, we review whatever we have posted, and we'll come back and answer your questions for you because we want you to get the benefits of whatever we post out here and, work together in this collective health initiative. Okay, let's do this. All right. Today's topic, environmentally speaking. And when we talk about health, we talk about our body health, we talk about our spiritual health, but sometimes we have to deal with where we are in the spaces that we're in. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today was your work environment, your home environment. What is that like for you? And how do you detox those spaces? And the greatest factor between your home and your work is you. We get up every day and we go into our environments and we start our day with thoughts, conversations. I had a friend that would share with me often, every morning, something about what she don't like about her job and these issues that's taking place with the job. And, just the energy that she would start her day with would only reinforce that energy throughout the day. So sometimes who we need to detox is ourselves, our thoughts, our conversations. If we focus on the things that weigh us down, we're only feeding the energy of the things that's going to weigh us down. So let's start our day with saying something positive. I will have a great day today. Facts are, whatever happens, whoever your co-workers are, however they behave, they're not going to be different people because you have a new day, but yes, your perception of how to receive them can change. You could go in with the idea, I just won't let what they say move me. You already know this is how they roll. So you don't then re-engage. You don't have words back. You don't have arguments. You breathe. You relax. You just like, okay, that's what we're doing today. This time I'll respond to it. And then you can change and shift your whole day just by choosing to make a different choice in how you respond to people. It's a powerful piece. Speak what you want, act on what you want, and not be moved by anybody else trying to sway you to the left or to the right. You got a choice. There are a number of times when we might not cuss our boss out, but we'll go home and cuss everybody else out in the house. Just like you made that choice not to cuss your boss out, when you go home, don't cuss those folks out either. Find other ways to deal with it. go in your peaceful place. You know, I love water fountains, and my bedroom at night is a water fountain that just when I go in there and turn it on, and then it's got the lights and all of the stuff that go with it, the color changing. You know, it sets a mood for me because I know when I go there, it's my space to just relax, relate, release, and think about, reflect on what positive things happen, what new things that I want to create for myself, so that the next day I have a new energy, and whatever held me down right now isn't going into my night. You know, it's not going to disturb my rest. It's not going to disturb my peace, so that I am refreshed for the next day. So detox yourself, detox your thoughts, detox the things you say, and speak those positive things out into the environment so that those things come back. Dr. You, we're going to come to you talking about what it is you're detoxing, and what would you like for the people to think about today as we're wrapping this up?
Well, first, shout out to my aunties on the check-in, Auntie Sintiaki Lee, Ajala Christian. You know, they had a question. Auntie had a question about how long the detox is. The detox we're just doing is 7 days. Recipes, in terms of recipes, how you can get access to that. If you're not already, which I think you are, you can join the Collective Health Initiative group on Facebook. And there we've been posting pretty much daily, you know, about some of the things that we've been doing and all of that. You know, but what I've done personally, you know, I really was focusing on eating a little lighter, making sure I'm not doing a lot of heavy fats, making sure that I'm drinking the proper amount of water every day. I use my liver tonic herbal tea blend. I use my colon cleanse capsules daily for the past 7 days. Made sure I wasn't using any cooked oils, made sure I wasn't using any concentrated sweeteners whatsoever. So that means no sugar, no agave, no maple syrup, no honey, none of that stuff. I'm just using all whole plant-based foods. And that, you know, pretty much constituted what I did from the detox side of things. Staying away from a lot of, you know, negativity, kind of keeping it low on the activity level, you know, those kind of things like that. I already don't really watch TV and stuff, so that wasn't a big shift for me.
Cool. Master Chef, you and I were talking about you detoxing the radio and the TV stations. Just kind of share with the people what that was like for you. Just a little nitbit of our conversation we had.
Yeah, that was quite different. Being as though someone who prides himself on, you know, meditating, you know, spending time and just, you know, meditating and quieting the mind and things like that. However, usually it's done with music. And when not meditating, the same as Dr. You, there's no TV involved, so there may be the radio on. And so part of this detox was to let go of the outside radio, whether it be meditation music, unless specifically meditating. Like throughout the day, just go through the day in silence from time to time. And that experience was different, and just feeling the urge to wanting to have something on, knowing that because something wasn't on, it was like, seemed like something is missing, should be doing something. It was just this, like a strange kind of feeling of emptiness, boredom, or something. And just the fact that it was missing. And Doctor, you mentioned it was the overstimulus thing, that even though meditation is good and, you know, listen to music that doesn't have any lyrics and things like this, it is also still good to be in absolute silence, like absolute quiet, where only thing around is the natural sounds from those in around nature, things like that. And just to sit with that is encouraging and hopeful. In fact, my person is going to encourage more of this, because what came about was after the, okay, what we're going to do now, what is happening, there tend to be more, maybe insights, more thoughts, more clarity that came, you know, within that quiet space. So it was challenging, and give thanks and more understanding to those people who say, I can't meditate, I can't sit down, because, even with a much experience, it can be kind of challenging just to be in absolute silence. So that's my person's experience with that piece. Give thanks.
Right, right. I like when we're able to share, because I think a lot of times folks will look at us and we go, oh, you guys are the practitioners. Oh, this is easy. You can do this. I'm like, forgetting we are still in this human body, and we have challenges and experiences just like everyone else. It's like, for me, for years, just drinking water was a challenge. And so I would squeeze so much lemon and it wasn't even water anymore. It'd be lemonade, just so that you didn't have sugar. Just trying to incorporate water into the diet. But it takes practice, and the best of us have challenges at doing this thing to be able to do it well. Let's talk about some of the recipes that we use. I posted a video today of a recipe I did last year, and I was like, oh yeah, that's great, I'm gonna try that again. It's like I soaked some steel oats in the refrigerator overnight, and then while raw, I put it in my Vitamix with some fresh fruits and mixed that thing together, put a little teaspoon of honey, because I was sugar detoxing, and so I wasn't quite ready for nothing sweetened added. But I did a little honey with it in some spring water, and it was great. I didn't know that I would like it, but it was great with the fruit, the steel oats. That's just one of my little quick recipes. What's one of your favorite go-tos, Chef?
So as recipes, well, chickpea salad, and it is as simple as replacing tuna fish with chickpeas. And my person adds a little and regular mayonnaise, use the veganese. Is a fan of the veganese. So veganese, chickpeas, and the rest, sweet relish, and little carrots, maybe cucumbers up in there, and onions, of course. And recently began to add shells to it. So, either by itself as a chickpea salad, and a little kelp to give it more of the fishy taste, to more like the tuna taste. So add a little kelp sometimes. So chickpea salad is one of my person's favorite go-to. Call it fun food.
Yes. I am a fan of your chickpea salad. Anybody would tell you, I'd be like, oh yeah, he got some chickpea salad. I have to go grab some of that. Your salad is delish. I really like it. Really like it. I see Sister Lee was saying that she does her smoothie with some almond milk. Sister Lee, I'm with you on that too. Whenever I want my fruits and creams and I do my smoothies, that almond milk is right on board. Give thanks for sharing. Dr. Yu, what's one of your favorite recipes?
Oh, I have a bunch of things that I just kind of create off the top personally. So I did a squash with some buckwheat, some cooked buckwheat, and charred salad. That was the last thing that I prepared that I had myself, like a buckwheat. And I seasoned the buckwheat nicely, savory style. I'm trying to remember exactly what I put it in. I know it was some garlic. It was some, yeah, I don't remember the details off the top of my head, because I was just making it as I went along and just kind of utilizing my skills there, But yeah, it turned out really well. It was filling, excuse me, and it also was light. I didn't feel heavy afterwards. And buckwheat is a great quote unquote grain. It's not technically a grain, but it's a great grain to use for detoxing purposes, because it also is a complete protein as well, so definitely a good thing. I see a couple questions I wanted to address really quickly before we get into the topic of the day. My aunt, she asked about monk fruit being a good sweetener for a detox. Yes, monk fruit is not a concentrated sweetener, so monk fruit would be a good sweetener to use on a detox. My other auntie, Carla, asked if parasites, if detoxing helps with parasites. Yes, detoxing can help to get rid of parasites. However, there's certain protocols that are more effective for parasites, particularly, so definitely I can reply to that more so in the comments once we get off the broadcast, because that's a whole, thing in itself. But we do have products, there are different herbs, that can help out with parasites, particularly, So I'll reply to that in the comments after the broadcast.
Just to remind everyone, we are here to support you, whatever you're detoxing, whatever it is that you're trying to do in this holistic health approach. So do reach out. And when we host and do these shows, it's just some quick tidbits of information. So you want to have guided help and guided solutions. Reach out to the She so that we can support you in whatever it is that you're trying to do. Because we want everyone to be successful. We didn't do the disclaimer earlier so that we're not medical doctors, but we are practitioners. We have gone to school. We have gotten training. We do know what it is that we're talking about to support you. So make sure you're reaching out.
To address another question I just saw from Mama Kathleen, yes, buckwheat is gluten-free. If you are grain intolerant, yes, most people can tolerate buckwheat well. Buckwheat is not technically a grain, as I mentioned earlier. It's really a seed, so that because of that, it's gluten-free. It makes it a really good, more easily digestible type of quote unquote grain for most people.
Yes, keep your questions coming. It's like we're all ready to check in. Dr. Yu, you're doing a great job. Right before I could say them, you already on top of it. Awesome.
And there was a question about the chickpea salad as well. So just look, there's no actual written recipe. It's one of those things where you just get in there and do it. So look forward for a video, a little demo coming out sometime next few days that actually, go through the process with that. So chickpea salad demo coming your way.
Awesome. Right. Awesome sauce. What is the least amount of days you can do for a detox to be effective?
That varies. It varies on what your goal is, what the state of your body is. Sometimes it could be one day, depending on what your goal is and what the state of your body is. Sometimes it can be 3 days. Sometimes it could be 7 days. So it really depends. Sometimes detoxes last for a matter of a month, a couple months. Sometimes it has to last longer than that. So detoxes is definitely like variable in that kind of way.
Awesome. So I know there were some things, specifically that you guys wanted to talk about. I'm going to give way to you, Master Chef, with what it was you were sharing with this detox experience this week.
Oh yeah, just to I guess add a little more insight to the specific detox. It was no media like radio, even WTOP. Just check in for the weather and maybe get a glimpse of what's happening. None of that. And what's Joneses, as they say, man, listen to something, which is the bigger thing. Along with that, there was no drinking with meals. Eat these, what my person calls fun food, like the Beyond Meat burger and chickpea salad on Ezekiel bread with cheese, almost like a patty melt, with some potatoes, wedges. Got in the habit of like drinking with the meals. So cut out all drinking with the meals, as well as cut out alcohol. Time to time, a person like to sip on a glass of wine in the evening, or have a shot or a beer. It depends on what the season is. We'll have something as a little nightcap. So there was no alcohol either, and just enjoying the benefits of seeing what that's like. Without those things that are so accustomed to. And again, the biggest thing of those three was just the being in silence. And is can go on and on with that, but
Mm.
just the insight with that is it's enough. So
Right.
yeah, that's it. The three things. Oh, and along with the colon detox, I almost forgot about that because generally speaking, my person does that like 4 times a year every time the seasons change. So the colon detox with the psyllium husk and the bentonite clay to just get the intestine really good and clean. So
Yeah, our topic today is environmentally speaking. You know, what were you sharing about the environmentally speaking part today?
oh, environmentally speaking. Uh, so with that piece, my person generally focus on like the Wi-Fi and the fears. Generally speaking, Wi-Fi, we're speaking about not just the 5G, what most people are familiar with these days, but as well as the 4G, 3G, 2G, all the Gs. And the G is not for God, it's the G's for something else. But nonetheless, the 5G, the Bluetooth, all anything wireless, and especially these smartphones that we have these days, because most smartphones have their own Wi-Fi or broadcasting, so you don't have to turn on the Wi-Fi. For the most part, it stays on. So that type of energy in the atmosphere in the environment can cause have more detrimental effects on the body, as well as generally speaking the fears. In the society, the more fearful it is in our society, that also plays a part in more detrimental effects on our bodies as well. And generally speaking, the principle is this. The analogy can be used like the walkie-talkie back in the day. Growing up back in the day, you used to have these walkie-talkies and talk to a buddy. And sometimes, every now and again, someone else's walkie-talkie would cross and you'll be hearing someone else's conversations. The same with the CB back in the day. You have a channel from the CB, and sometimes people can just chime in on that station. And the way my person looks at these types of interferences with the Wi-Fi, the 5G, the Bluetooth and these things, as well as just a lot of fear in the environment itself, is the same as an interference that is coming in, like with the walkie-talkie with the CB. Because generally speaking, we have our own biorhythm, our own electromagnetic process, within the body that how we communicate. The cells communicate, the brain communicate, the hormones, enzymes, how things know what to do. That's an entire wiring system in and of itself. Maybe called the neurological system, the nervous system. But yeah, we have electricity in our own frequency within that governs our body every day, not just consciously, but on the subconscious, like they say, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, as well as again those things that like our heartbeat and the digestion of food. Everything is controlled by our own biorhythm, as well as being able to receive uploads and or downloads for those of us who are open to information from our higher selves in whatever form that may come, whether it be ancestors, spirit guides, ascended masters, deities, angels, archangels, orishas, and Mother, Father, God itself, which can be considered the highest form of our higher self. So again, one person looks at how to shield itself, in a sense, from these type of harmful environmental effects. And what my person used, and for both of them, the so-called the Wi-Fi, the man-made, man-generated energies, as well as the fears that come about in our community, in our environment, is crystals. Because just finds crystals is one of the simpler, more easy ways to assist with maintaining a pure environment. And speaking of crystals, generally speaking, most black stones or any black stone will serve in that capacity of grounding and protecting. And just to mention a few that my person personally works with would be the black tourmaline, black onyx, and the shungite. And the difference with those, generally speaking, would be the black tourmaline is one that grounds and protects, and it also assists more with like the Wi-Fi, the smog, the EMFs, those type of vibrations. Whereas the black onyx is more so geared towards the just general fear, just negative energies in general. And along with protecting, the black onyx also has the ability to kind of repel or send back as well, various negative energies. And the shungite is one that my person used. It is good for like the electromagnetic spectrum, the 5Gs, those types of things, grounding and protection. But it's also one that is good for ingestion, as in an elixir, as in you allow the crystal, preferably shungite if you're using it for that particular reason, to sit in preferably a glass jar, so that as the sunlight charges the crystals, the same as we're charged in the sun, sunlight charges the crystals. It charges the water, electrifies, energizes the water. So it is a way to, again, to assist with, as I say, embodying or becoming the word, but be taking on the properties of the crystals themselves. And so those are a few crystals that pertain and may assist with protection. And aside from the black stones, there's one, a hematite, which is not really black, but yet it is good for grounding and protection as well. And one more, which is not black, is just the opposite, is white, clear quartz. But the clear quartz crystal, which is the most abundant crystal, is made from silica. That's the main mineral, which is mainly what the Earth's crust is made of, silica. So it has a very high connectivity with the Earth itself, as well as the clear quartz, science says, has the ability to create more negative ions in the atmosphere, or more what they call positive energy in the atmosphere. So just having crystals around for either protection, like they say the black crystals, protect and kind of shield you from certain frequencies that will interfere with your body's own resonating frequencies, how it conducts itself, as well as just to simply raise the vibration in of itself, clear quartz crystal, as well as even certain devices like orgonite, orgonite, O-R-G-O-N-I-T-E, orgonite. These are other devices that may be used as well. Some of you may have seen some devices similar to this, but this is an orgonite pyramid. Again, orgonite uses the technology of the crystals and metals, because generally speaking, where the orgonite works is metals generally have the ability to gather chi, prana, energy, like automobiles, machinery, it's just a lot of energy around these things. And the clear quartz, as it has the ability to raise the vibration, as we say, create more negative ions in the atmosphere. Then they also say when the clear quartz is under pressure, they call it piezoelectricity, pulses of energy. This is how the technology began back in the day with the LCD watches, liquid crystal display. And crystals and copper is in the technology that we use, cell phones, TVs, radios, copper and crystals, because of their ability to do that. So as we use these, we can use these things also, the same technology, to again clear the atmosphere, because as the metals that are in this device, which is created by using a liquid epoxy resin, you get these molds kind of like ice cubes, generally silicone, so that you can easily remove the item once it's been cured or once it's settled. So generally speaking, the metals kind of bring the energy around, accumulate it. The clear quartz raises the vibration of it, and being as though as the resin hardens, it's pressure on the quartz. So it's like pulses of vibrating energy, high vibrating energy that's being sent out. So my person uses these things to also clear the atmosphere. So besides crystals, in personal space, incense as well. Incense clears that space, raises the vibration to more positive vibration. So that's how my person specifically works with the environment, especially when it comes to the Wi-Fi, the more so the Wi-Fi, and just general how people's emotions can be in a low state. That has an effect. So using crystals on the outside to raise the vibrations, organite to raise the vibrations, is inside burning those incense to raise the vibration. So
Okay,
that's what my person do.
real quick, there are a few questions that I'm going to pull from the comments to share with you so you can have a moment to answer. One person asked, how does the water taste when you put the crystals in there? Another person wanted to know if can you put the crystals in other things other than just water to make it work with? And somebody said it was interesting that you can use charcoal to work with the way you're working with things. So I also want you to speak to how you prepare your shungites before you put them into the water, because I know when I bought the big bag of shungite, it was like real dusty, when I pulled them out, so that they understand that process.
Yes, cool. Caught a few of those questions. Starting with the shungite in the water. Well, the liquid, first of all. You can use other mediums besides water. And one that my person is familiar with, haven't done it yet, is alcohol. You can make a tonic with alcohol and crystals. Haven't done that one yet. However, water, generally speaking, because of its ability to, let's say, dissolve, extract, become one with, and the benefits of the body and what it does, my person just kind of settled with using water as that medium. Just a preference. And with the crystals, with the shungite in the water, yes, the shungites do come rather chalky, as they say, or charcoaly. And that's due to the fullerenes. There's a type of carbon or charcoal, the fullerenes, 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 something like that. And with the fullerenes, that's the benefits of the shungite. It actually helps to take away some of the things that shouldn't be in the body, some of the toxins that shouldn't be in the body. It's a great way to detox. And it's good to wash the shungite thoroughly before, because again, it's almost like charcoal. You have picked up a piece of charcoal and it kind of comes off on your hand as such. And as far as medicine bags and the placement of the crystals, well, starting out, there have been many types of experiments my person did with the crystals. We're starting out with just placing them on an altar, in the side of the house when we first began to work with them. Well, actually, first it was on ourselves. We got crystals and just place them on certain energy centers of the body. And then moving from those energy centers of the body, we just place them at a certain place, like on an altar. And then, which was cool, and you're just creating the space. And then we move from creating the altar to almost like a grid, like in the four corners, especially if there's a point on the crystal, such as a clear quartz, which usually are pointed. So if you place these in the corners, pointing in, or on the sides, wherever you place them and they're pointing towards each other, then that creates a grid, kind of like the Mission Impossible movies when you see the red lasers and you got to get through there without touching a red laser. If so, that's toast. And so these crystals can work like a grid as well, especially if they have points on them. You just point them and you grid them around as such. These days, because there are so many crystals and organite my person work with, they're just really all over the place. And as far as the medicine bag, generally speaking, yeah, it's an ankh. It's not nearby, Otherwise, it's maybe before the broadcast is over. That it's an ankh that my person wears these days. This is like a large copper ankh. It goes over its head, which started from an ankh that it had in its hand, which started from a small ankh that it wore around here. And the reason why my person chose the ankh specifically and made it in copper and attached crystals to it is to really just bring it alive. Generally speaking, that ankh symbolizes eternal life, masculine and feminine principles coming together. And so with the copper and crystals, kind of using the intention to activate the purpose of that sacred geometry. And so when a person walk with that, it generally says, let's be harmonized. Let's maintain the balance between our masculine and feminine possessions. Okay. Crystals to put in water. Besides the shungite, clear quartz is a good crystal also. Clear quartz is a good crystal, and the shungite. Aside from those two, again, just based on personal experience, and have used the amazonite, AMAZNOIT, amazonite, in water, as well as crystal colia. So those 4 crystals personally have used in water. And it is better to use the raw, harder crystals, such as the shungite, the clear quartz. Chrysocolla, not the chrysocolla, amazonite is a hard crystal, so it is recommended to be in water as well. The amazonite, clear quartz, and the shungite. So hopefully that was all the questions. Don't want to take up too much time because we can go on and on about crystals and their protection. So, just reach out if information, we can, chat in the private messenger or on the phone, whatever. So.
Right. Just a quick mention. Sister Kathleen talked about removing 4 bags of clothes as decluttering her environment. And I don't think people understand how powerful that is. It's like part of the work I do when I'm working with people who have emotional challenges and things that just keeps their energies where they're not in a good space is I go in and help people clean their homes, help them put things into place that resonates with them, that brings them back to a calm space, that brings them back to a cool space. Because a lot of people think, this is medicines that they need, when it's not that you necessarily need medications to calm down. You really need to clean up your environment. You need to make a space that when you walk into that space, it makes you feel good. As you can see, I love the Afrocentric pieces around me. I love that connecting to my ancestor spirits, in the house. So when you come into my home, you're going to see a lot of Afrocentric things going on in that space. It brings about a calm to my energy because I got a lot of energy flowing, and it can be real high on any given day. But they help to ground me in my space. So when I come in and work with you, I help you become grounded in your space. So good job to you, Sister Kathleen. Coming back to you, Dr. Yu. What are you doing environmentally today? Do you want to share with us?
Well, one of the things that we were talking about earlier, just to bridge the gap, we were talking about detoxing, and just coming off of this 7-day detox, a lot of people don't realize how much pollutants that we take in on a regular basis. When we go outside and we breathe the air, but we have a billion cars riding by us, and the exhaust from those car fumes, we're breathing that in. If we go to the gas station, the smell from the gasoline that we're breathing in, the foods that are not necessarily the healthiest of foods create toxins inside of the body. Then sometimes the pollution in the water, the clutter in our homes, so on and so forth. All of these different things can create environmental toxins. So the detoxing process is very, very important. However, also looking around, like, what do you surround yourself with? Sister Precious mentioned earlier about people, which are super important, but also what about your actual physical environment? If you're like me, we're in the heart of Washington, D.C., and in our immediate environment, we have a bunch of buildings and concrete and so on and so forth, and there are people racing up and down our street every day. Here and there, you may hear gunshots and so on and so forth. So all of these things can have, whether it's a subtle effect or a pronounced effect, they can have an effect on your psyche. It can have a physical effect on your body as well. You know, sometimes you can walk out the door and you can be very anxious and not even realize it, or it becomes your normal, you know, especially in the face of all that's going on. So what are you doing to shift that environment? You know, we have a lot of influence over our environment, whether we realize it or not. So just this past Saturday, we went out to shout out to Sister Amina, who holds a space called Motherland, which is a camping ground out in Southern Maryland. And we went out there, and just that shift of environment, you know, we planned to stay out there for maybe about 2 hours, and we wound up, you know, staying out there for the whole entire day, just because it was that peaceful. The vibe, you know, was right off of the water, you know. And a lot of times people don't realize that it's that important to get out into a more natural environment. We are natural beings. You know, nature is what's going to appeal to us. Many of the things that we do psychologically is an appeal to get back to nature, back to who we are, back to the environments that bring us peace, you know. And that's a very, very important thing. So whether it be moving water or water in period in general, whether it be the mountains, whether it be you know, the trees and the forest areas and things of that nature, you know, this is very, very important to make sure that you make time to get out into those natural environments, away from a lot of the electrical signals and you know, things of that nature that Master Shep was mentioning earlier, away from a lot of the noise, away from a lot of the disruptions, you know, to just take time to do that. Sometimes even going for a walk in a park. You know, let's say if you're in an environment where a beach may be too far out and not practical for you to do on a regular basis, but maybe you can go to a park that not everybody frequents. You know, maybe you can go to you know, a natural spring, or you know, most places have some body of water around it where you can go to, you know. So maybe you might want to visit that, even if it's not the cleanest or best of places. A lot of times, you know, you can still gain some benefit from that, you know. So that definitely is a big piece. The detoxing is a big piece, you know. And also the plants that grow around. You know, this is one thing that in the herbal world we talk about a lot, is for those of you who have a green thumb, especially. My thumb is still brown, as you can see. You know, I've killed a few plants in my lifetime, so that's not my area of expertise. But however, you know, having certain plants grow around you can help to offset in a similar way as the crystals do, like some of those negative energies and things like that you may have around your environment as well. So in addition to the decluttering, in addition to the crystals, you know, getting out to natural places when you can, you know, but also making the time to get out to natural places, really, you know, making the time is important. It's not just about if you can, we just have to make the time to do that. But also, you know, having certain plants grow around, growing certain plants, you know, if you haven't tried it, you know, even if you're not the expert in growing plants, I definitely would encourage it. You know, it's a very, very beautiful experience. You know, you get to learn a lot through that process if you really take the time to tap in. But yes, one thing that stands out, holy basil. And I may have talked about this on another episode, but holy basil is one that has a traditional use of being a protective barrier energetically. And you put that around, and it kind of helps to protect even your home, you know, from anything happening. If something were to happen, the holy basil plant will be affected first. So at least you'll have a warning, you know, that something will be happening. So very, very good plant to have around. If you don't, any kind of basil, it doesn't have to be holy basil. Holy basil is definitely like one of those plants that kind of like is more known for that. Rosemary is another very good one that you can grow around. And sometimes some of the things that naturally will grow around to encourage the growth of some of those things, because a lot of times those can be protective herbs as well. Even the dandelions and things of that nature, a lot of people don't really encourage the growth of it, but dandelions can save people's lives. So many mugwort, another very, very good protective herb as well. Where did you get holy basil? Holy basil, you can order the seeds from online. Many local like plant places may carry it as well. So I would suggest, get an organic, of course, look for organic local plant places, places that sell like the live plants. You can check them. Holy basil is like a common garden herb now as well. So you can check those, or you can order it online, push come to shelf, pull up holy basil seeds, and check for that. But those are some really good protective herbs that you can have growing around in your environment.
Yes, great stuff. Great stuff. Somebody put in there, I heard plants are good for oxygen. And that's the quick exchange with plants. We breathe out carbon monoxide, which they use and they live through, and we breathe in oxygen. So having plants is a good trade for both you and the plant, because you're, again, environmentally supporting one another. So it's like, it's important. That's why we need to take care of nature. That's why we need to not be outside, throwing trash and stuff here and there, because it's a benefit for us to take care of the earth so that the earth in turn takes care of us. This has been the health class you never had. We went through the detox and shared information. We got in touch with you all with your questions and guided you through. And we are really grateful to have you with us. We don't want to leave this episode without, again, mentioning the Gullah Geechee Herbal Gathering. And that's taking place on the 27th. Be sure to check into the Gullah Geechee herbalgathering.com so that you get information. You can do this thing online if you're not going to be there live and in person, and it is beneficial for you to do so. I'm telling you, it made a difference in my life last year, so I'm definitely not going to miss it this year. Thank you all. We hope to see you. You got to go ahead, Dr. Yu.
Yeah, I just want to address a question about Motherland. Is it open to the public? Yes, it is available for rental at the moment. It's located in Southern Maryland. It's about an hour and a half approximately outside of Washington, D.C. And I can post the link on the comments once we get off of this broadcast, if you're interested in reserving it. We're currently exploring doing a retreat out there, a one-day program or an overnight program. We're getting the details together, but definitely look out for that. That's coming soon, and we're really, really excited about it. That's why we were out there. We were meeting about that very thing. So definitely look out for that information soon. If you're not already, if you haven't already liked and followed the Collective Health Initiative page, please do so you can keep up with all of this great information. Even though this is our last broadcast for this season, we're still going to be very, very active in doing a lot of things and putting information out, so definitely keep in tune with that. But in terms of Motherland itself, I'll post the link for being able to book space there in the comments.
Awesome. Thank you again for joining us. This has been the health class you never had, and stay tuned for all of the information we have coming. Thank you. Good day.
Peace.